are now listening to the War Report Podcast Network.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the College Loop Pregame Show. I'm Durell Robinson on Twitter, here to preview Auburn's Week 10 opponent as they're back at home taking on the Kentucky Wildcats, who are 2-5, 0-5 in the SEC. Auburn, of course, back in the win column last week, a 4-4 record with that nice little one win in the SEC with those 4 losses. Interesting game, regardless. I mean, Auburn, every game from now on is a must win if you want to reach your goal of 8-4. But, of course, would not be an Auburn football season without the slightest little bit of quarterback drama. Last game versus Arkansas, of course, Ashton steps in for a confidence lacking Jackson Arnold performance yet again. You have that first drive touchdown, and then everything goes kaput. But Ashton steps in. Spark is had in the offense. And, you didn't score a touchdown in that time period, but something felt different. And if that was just the game plan kind of changing for the backup, where you just let the ball be ran a little bit more. But regardless, passes were made down the field, or at least a pass was made down the field. And again, I looked at the graphic I made earlier, and I actually found out Ashton Daniels did take 2 sacks, but it didn't feel like he did because he wasn't standing in the pocket taking it. He ran out of the pocket, and then it just happened, which I'm A-okay with. You're trying to make a play with the ball. You're not just sitting there waiting for something to happen for you. You're actually trying to make it happen yourself. So I'll take those kind of sacks any day of the week rather than the lackadaisical standing in the pocket. Because even then, I think his 2 sacks lost all of 6 yards, but Jackson's 1 sack lost 9. So Ashton Daniels, I think, is your pick going into this the Saturday's game. Again, not going to hear a word about it from Hugh Freeze until probably the minute before, whether or not we're going to see who starts for Auburn. But, it's got to be Ashton Daniels. I've just seen too many bad performances from Jackson Arnold, and I can't even say fully bad. I gotta change that. Lacking. I think lacking is the better word. You have those first drives of the game, those scripted drives, work down the field, quick passes, balls coming out, no sacks, protection is good, and you score a touchdown. Well, then the second drive comes around and you don't know what to do. Third drive comes around and you really don't know what to do. Fourth drive comes around and you just look lost. And it's embarrassing to see. Again, it just doesn't feel like Jackson Arnold has it mentally to play in the SEC or just play for Auburn in general. He's just missing those key attributes you need in a star quarterback. And, he has all the talent in the world, all the uncoachable attributes, the strong arm, the ability to run, all that stuff. It's not been honed in, or if it has, it's been lost. So I think you go into this week with Ashton Daniels as your starting quarterback. I don't see a world where you don't. It just doesn't make any sense to me. But that's just kind of my 2 cents on that situation. I mean, I'm going to give my 2 cents about this all week. I've said the same thing for the past 2 episodes. Don't put a Jackson Arnold out there. I don't care how tight of a race you think it is, how close of a race you think it is. The proof is in the film, and the film tells you Jackson Arnold just isn't capable of winning you football games. At least when Ashton Daniels, even the defense kind of got a spark. You got those 4 fourth quarter turnovers. You weren't getting that in the first quarter, which that's situational. But regardless, it just felt different when Ashton Daniels stepped in. But I'll kind of flip over to the Kentucky side of things for this game. So Kentucky, as always, Mark Stoops' speciality. You have a very good defense alongside a terrible, horrendous offense. And regardless, I mean, I think Kentucky has done some things well, but like running the football, which, I mean, they do extremely well. I mean, they're I can't say they do extremely well, but it's something they're just kind of known for. They're 69th in the country in rushing yards per game, but I mean they're 93rd or 94th in total yards, and then passing, and then of course scoring as well. They are unable to score points. And I was watching a Kentucky podcast, just kind of getting more background knowledge of Kentucky, and they were talking about how Auburn can't outscore them, which I find to be laughable after seeing Kentucky play. Which, I mean, they did put up, I think, around the 30 points or 20 high 20 points versus Tennessee, but garbage time. Yes, for Kentucky though, with the quarterback situation, again they're going to run the football with Seth McGowan. If he is back, I mean, he is listed as probable per the initial report for the SEC. Dante Dowdle will also step in for them as well. But, I mean, it's going to be all eyes on Cutter Boley, the new starting quarterback for Kentucky. If you had not known already, Zach Calzada lost his job, and Cutter Boley kind of stepped in and kind of took things over. So far in his 5 games that he's played in, 1,200 yards, 9 touchdowns, 66.5 completion percentage. But the kicker is those interceptions. He's got 5 interceptions on the season, which I think plays a lot to Auburn's favor in this one, but I'll get to that later on. Overall, I mean, Auburn does have the talent advantage in this one. Quarterback, you can probably go just even for quarterback, but running backs, you gotta go Jeremiah Cobb. Dude is an absolute hoss. And the receivers, again, it's going to point Auburn, but I mean, it is worth mentioning Kendrick Law. He is a playmaker. He can make things happen for himself. There's a reason he touches the ball on every aspect of the game. He has 3 carries on the year. He has a passing attempt. They're going to try to get him the football. And if I'm not mistaken, I think he's also the return man, if I'm not mistaken. At least he was at Alabama, unless I've missed that part of his game. But yeah, Kendrick Law is their lead receiver with 2 touchdowns, 302 yards as well. But when I kind of look at the players to watch for this one, again, I'm looking at Kentucky's quarterback. I mean, it's Cutter Boley. Auburn, of course, their defense has been phenomenal, right? Where Auburn is 28th in total defense. They're 5th in rushing yards allowed per game. They're 21st in points allowed per game. But, of course, they're 91st in passing defense, which means if Kentucky is able to find any kind of semblance of a passing attack where it's consistently working, then issues will be had and issues will come up regarding Auburn's defense. But again, I'm just not sure of it happening, right? I think that Auburn's defense will be able to shut down Kentucky's offense. And again, that comes down to the to Big Debo in that Tiger front 7, and Xavier Atkins again leading Auburn in tackles, leading Auburn in sacks, leading Auburn in all the big time categories. Dude has been having a Heisman level season, if you ask me. 2 forced fumbles, 1 fumble recovery, has a pick for 73 yards, has a pass deflection. Dude has every single thing on the box score except for that touchdown, which I definitely believe we should allow him to change that 73-yarder to the touchdown, just so it just doesn't count towards the offense. Regardless, I think that Auburn's defense is good enough to shut down anything Kentucky wants to do. Which, I mean, that's why Auburn can win football games. It's because of how good their defense has been playing that they're able to remain in these games. And I think Auburn's defense can force turnovers and even probably put up points for themselves to try to build up a little bit of a win streak going forward. Kentucky's defense, again, a very good defense in terms of stopping the run as well. They're 50th in rushing yards allowed per game, which isn't bad. 131 yards per game is pretty decent. But again, 108th in points allowed. They're 253rd in yards per game. And total defense are 90th. But the run game is where they're going to come out, and that's where you're going to see Alex Afari Jr., the tackle leader for Kentucky, also up there in terms of TFLs. I think he's second on the team in TFLs. So looking to try to lock down Jeremiah Cobb, probably trying to force Auburn to pass the ball a little bit more. But I think Ashton Daniels does have a little bit of an edge in that Jackson Arnold kind of missed out on. I mean, if there's one man that's hard to stop on this Auburn offense, it's Jeremiah Cobb, my Auburn player to watch for offense. Again, second in the SEC in rushing yards, 717 yards, 6 yards per carry, has 4 touchdowns, which sucks that he only has 4 touchdowns. I feel like he should have at least like 9 at the bare minimum. Dude has been having a great season and should be the workhorse behind what Auburn does offensively. If you have Durell Robinson back, it also helps you out a lot. Getting his home run ability will be awesome. Just hope that he can, if he's not a 100%, I'm not sure about putting him in for this one. I think holding him for Vanderbilt would be very beneficial if Auburn's able to maintain this game. But yeah, Jeremiah Cobb, definitely the player to watch for Auburn's offense. Like, of course, looking at the initial report for Auburn's offensive players, Malcolm Simmons and Cam Coleman both listed as questionable. Not too sure exactly what happened to Malcolm Simmons, but I do know that it was an ankle sprain, a lower ankle sprain for Cam Coleman. Last I heard Monday, he was feeling a little better, but not too sure where exactly he is in terms of percentage back. But it'd be interesting to see just kind of how Auburn shifts to, probably using Perry Thompson a lot more in that Cam Coleman role, trying to see what Eric Singleton can do with, given more home run threat level throws, and it's kind of letting him make plays happen himself. I mean, Auburn's wide receiver core is next man up mentality. You lose Cam Coleman for last game, but Auburn still had some plays made by how just talented the rest of these guys are. I mean, of course, you're going to miss Cam Coleman, but Eric Singleton can make up for that. Perry Thompson can make up for it. And again, it just builds to how good of a recruiter Hugh Freeze is. He brought in a very good wide receiver class. Him and Marcus Davis both brought in a very, very good wide receiver class over the past 2 years. So, interesting, but yeah, Jeremiah Cobb is going to be the guy to watch in this one. I think he's going to run his heart out yet again. He's going to hit 1,000 soon, which is awesome. I love that Auburn can get back into the habit of having a 1,000-yard rusher. I hated that there was just a dead period where Auburn just couldn't do it. But yeah, Jeremiah Cobb, next great back at Auburn football. So get to my key matchups. Again, bouncing off the Jeremiah Cobb. It's Auburn's run game versus Kentucky's run defense. It's the best part of their defense. It's the best part of our offense. Just kind of see who wins what. I think Auburn's run blocking has been great all year. I mean, the pass blocking has left a lot to be desired, but the run blocking, I mean, they're getting guys out of the way. Jeremiah Cobb has been great all year. I think he continues that, so that's where I'm kind of going with Auburn and this one, just kind of taking over the run game. Up next, again, kind of said this one earlier, Cutter Boley versus the secondary. He makes a lot of mistakes, 9 touchdowns to 5 interceptions. Not sure what the math is, but I mean, that's almost 2 touchdowns per interception. So I don't imagine there's going to be a lot of passing touchdowns for Kentucky in this one, but I can see a couple of interceptions being caught. So that's what I'm looking forward to in this one. I just think the mistakes will be made, especially whenever you have a defense who's constantly getting after you. Cutter Boley's been sacked 15 times in 5 games that he's been the starter. That's 3 sacks per start, or at least per game where he was the leading receiver. So, yeah, kind of see the defense kind of take over in this one will be big as well. And then lastly, Ashton Daniels versus Hugh Freeze. I mean, Ashton Daniels is my pick for a starting quarterback. I believe he's everybody's pick for the starting quarterback for Auburn going into this one and probably for the remainder of the season. Will Hugh Freeze open up the playbook for him, or will it just kind of be a handoff performance for him, which, I mean, Auburn can still win doing that. But, Ashton Daniels showed some big playability, and we just kind of see where exactly he stands in that regard. But I think it'll be very interesting to see what will happen if, the playbook is opened and Malcolm Simmons is running a deep post and Ashton hits him in stride, or you get another Eric Singleton one-on-one catch that he made last game. Auburn receivers can make plays if you give them the right routes to do so, and if you have the right quarterback in there to get the ball to them, which I think Ashton Daniels can be. But again, you got to call the right plays for a quarterback who has more poise, which is something you said, which is something Hugh Freeze said. He said Ashton Daniels has more poise to him, which is not really in that fashion, but definitely said it based off the game. So again, I think you kind of see where my prediction is going. Auburn's a more talented team. Auburn has the edge in almost every position to me, really. Outside of quarterback, where right now, if you don't really know all that about Ashton Daniels, except for just a small sample size, I think it's split right there just because Coder Bowley has been pretty good outside of, the interceptions and the sacks. But I mean, he has been steadily improving and making good throws. So I think even there, but everything else is pointing towards Auburn. And I just have to go with my gut here. I don't think I've predicted a game wrong all year in terms of just winner. But I'm going to go with Auburn in this one. I got them 27-13. Auburn continues their streak of not allowing an SEC opponent to score 17 points from their offensively. Not going to account for the pick six that was scored last game at Arkansas. 27-13 is my pick. I think Auburn just kind of builds on it. You get another win in the win column, and you pretty much kind of clinch bowl eligibility just because you have to beat Mercer. But again, that's bare minimum requirements. I think you still need to beat Vanderbilt, and you still got to beat Alabama to get that. You definitely have to get the 8-4. But to kind of like salvage or save the season, you got to win both those games. And to do that, you need to take care of business versus Kentucky. You got to show some improvement. You showed that you're willing to make a change, but you need to show that you can add to that change. But yeah, let me just say in the comments below, what is your pick for Auburn versus Kentucky this Saturday? Of course, I'm going to be in attendance for this game. I'm going to be with some buddies of mine. But of course, if you see me, let me know you see me. Say hello. Say what's up. I'm always down to meet y'all. It's always very cool whenever I get recognized in public because it's like, oh, dang, I never really know that I'm like a public figure until I get noticed in public, and I'm just like always shocked by it. Y'all are the greatest. Thank you all so much. They have already subscribed to the channel. If you've not already, go ahead and do so. Trying to work our way back up to next goal, which is 2,000, and then of course after that, I'm just gonna shoot for the 1,000,000. With that being said, of course, we're gonna quick little break. Other side of this break, we're gonna talk about the pick'ems of the week where I got my top 10 games. So stay tuned. We're going to be right back with that. And let me get rid of that first. Yeah, we'll be right back.
Are you tired of having to rummage through just clothes after clothes after clothes looking for something to wear? Are you tired of your friends making fun of you for your terrible fashion sense? Well, do we have the shirt for you? Go to thewarreport.com, get your laptop out and do it right now. Go to the shop and get your very own Feelin' Loopy t-shirt as well as your College Loop hat, and you can get both of them for only $25 each. Plus shipping and handling, of course. But with that, now back to your regular scheduled program.
Of course, you can get that at thewarreport.com, available on the shop. I believe the second and third page at this point, where you can get your College Loop merch today. Of course, the merch, only one way to support the channel. The best way to support the channel, of course, by liking the video, by commenting on the video. Let me know what your prediction is for Auburn versus Kentucky this week. And, of course, by subscribing to the channel, helping us get to our next goal of 2,000 subscribers. All 1,000, and I think it's still 1,060 y'all, are the greatest people on earth. Thank you all that have already subscribed to the channel. And continuing your constant support of us over here at the College Loop. As we move on to the last part of the show, got our pick'ems of the week. Got some good games. I had a couple games I had to add just for personal discussions about it. But regardless, we're going to start off right away. I'm trying to remember exactly. I think game day is Cincinnati, Utah. So, again, that one's last, but that one game's at 9:15. So, if you're watching that game, more power to you. I'm going to be exhausted from being at Jordan-Hare Stadium. So I don't know if that game was going to be on my radar outside of just checking it. But starting off, 11 a.m. kick, number 9, Vanderbilt travels to Texas to take on the Longhorns. This is going to be a big-time game for both programs. You know, you have to get a win here if you're Vanderbilt to continue to prove that you belong in the playoffs. Texas, you also have to build some momentum in this one as well. But the big storyline for this game is the fact that Arch Manning is listed as questionable. But even if he wasn't, I'm going with Vanderbilt in this game. And that's so weird to think about. Texas is the favorite. Their FPI's favorite as well. I just can't fathom what I've seen in Texas this year and see them beat Vanderbilt. Outside of the Oklahoma game, they've not been impressive. I mean, this is a team that needed overtime to beat Kentucky. So I'm going to take Vanderbilt in this one. I think they've been the most surefire team this year. Outside that Bama game, I mean, they've looked the part in every game. Again, outside of Bama. But yeah, I'm going to take the Vanderbilt Commodores over Texas, which again, ask me if I would have said that a couple years ago. Definitely never came out of my mouth. ACC, Duke at Clemson. Clemson's the favorite in this one. Another 11 a.m. kick, ACC Network game. This game I was on the fence about. I think that it's being a close spread just kind of makes it a pick 'em. But, I just love watching Clemson lose. I'm going to take Duke. I think Duke can get the win in this one. If they keep winning in football, they'll stop putting money in basketball. It's all something funny like that, which is not true at all. But yeah, I'm going to take Duke in this one. I think they've been a very sneaky good team. They just kind of got some rough into some games. But again, I'm going to take the Blue Devils to get the win in that one. Up next, got a big-time matchup. This game should be a ranked-on-ranked matchup. Don't know how it is. Navy's undefeated. North Texas has one loss. UNT is basically a touchdown favorite. 11 a.m. kick, ESPN2. Also FPI's favorite as well. This game's going to be fun to watch. I'm probably going to have this game on with the volume on while the Vandy Texas game is on. I'm going to take North Texas. I mean, they've been pretty daggum good all season. Navy also has been as well. This is going to be a fun one. If Cincinnati or Utah were not ranked, I'd find it hard to believe that this game would not be on the radar, which I hate that it's not. This game deserves a lot more love. North Texas has been on fire this year and deserves a lot more media attention than what they've gotten. I mean, this is a game that determines playoff spots. And again, you still have to look at USF. You still got to look at teams around the American and the G5, just kind of seeing who's going to get that last seed. And again, not even last seed. They can get up to the 4th seed if they really kept going. Again, Navy's undefeated. If Navy wins this game, they're ranked. And they continue to build on that. They have a pretty favorable schedule going forward. I mean, they have USF later in the year, but that's a resume builder game right there. Because USF has been extremely good. But yeah, I'm going to take North Texas in this one. They're kind of been my Cinderella pick. They've been extremely good. And something about green teams. North Texas and USF both having phenomenal seasons. Up next, the largest outdoor cocktail party. Number 5, Georgia going to Jacksonville to take on the Florida Gators. Georgia's the touchdown favorite. Number 5 team in the land. Don't know how they're that close. Not mistaken, this is the first game of the no more Billy Napier era, which also surprises me as to why exactly this is so close. I'm taking Georgia. no real discussion there. I just think Georgia is the better football team. They also have a coach, which Florida does not. So I'm going to take the Bulldogs in that one. Up next, Texas Tech, number 13 team in the country, traveling to – I just blanked on what Kansas State – I think not Champaign. Who's it? That's Illinois. Oh, why I set myself up for that. Traveling to Manhattan. There we go. Manhattan, Kansas, taking on the Wildcats. Texas Tech is a favorite in this one. I think they've been a very, very good Big 12 team. I think they're going to get that Big 12 spot in the playoffs. They're still my pick for that. So yeah, I'm gonna take Texas Tech in this one. Continue their winning ways as well. They took like a very hard loss, I think, last week or the week prior. But regardless, I'm gonna take the Red Raiders in that one. Up next, going over there to the G5 again. CUSA Delaware traveling to Virginia, which is not that far of a drive. Taking on the Liberty Flames. Liberty's the favorite, but you know what? I've been picking the away team a lot in this one. I'm going to keep it going. I'm taking Delaware. I think Delaware's been a very solid team, and I think this is their first year in FBS, and they've been a very solid team. Them and KSU now in their second year. KSU is now a bowl game team, which is sad to say that they've made a bowl game sooner than Auburn has, at least in more recent memory. But yeah, I'm going to take the Blue Hens in this one. I like them a lot. To get this one. Again, CBS Sports Network is where that one is. Up next, Oklahoma traveling to Neyland Stadium in Knoxville to take on the Tennessee Volunteers. I think Oklahoma's a little fraudulent, so I'm going to rock with Rocky Top on this one, getting the win over the Sooners of Oklahoma. Going to the Big 12. Big 10, which is weird to say. Number 23, USC travels to Lincoln to take on Matt Rule and his Cornhuskers. USC is the favorite. I'm going to rock with USC. They've been a very, very good team, very underrated team. I have a Heisman candidate quarterback in Jaden Mayava. I just don't trust Matt Rule, which also bodes for me being a Carolina Panthers fan. I just don't trust Matt Rule to get a big win here. So I'm taking the USC Trojans. Number 9. This one I had to bring in here just because it's a conference game in the Pac-12, and it might be one of the first. It's probably the most recent, or it's definitely the most recent. But I don't know if we've ever seen a home and home series take place over the same season where it's not a conference title game. So Washington State travels to take on Oregon State, and like 3 more weeks from now, Oregon State is going to travel to take on Washington State, and they're home and home every year. Washington State, I'm going to give them the win here. Oregon State is a terrible football team this year. They are awful. So yeah, I'm going to take Washington State to get a win in this one. I think they're going to win by a lot more than what their spread says. So up next, what's been seen as the game of the week, number 17, Cincinnati traveling to take on number 24, Utah. Again, this is my battle of my two loves. You know, Cincinnati was my American team that I rooted for, that I had a NCAA dynasty with. Utah had a dynasty with them as well. They were my Pac-12 team that I supported. And then they both joined the Big 12 and also mixed in there with West Virginia. And now I have 3 teams that I root for all in the same conference, and everything is a headache whenever they play each other. But again, every sign is telling me that Utah is a team to pick. But again, I had a Utah dynasty. I love Utah. But something about Cincinnati, man. I can't not pick Cincinnati in this one. Brendan Sorsby has been playing like a dang Heisman winner, just not getting the love because he plays in Cincinnati. So I'm going to show him some love here. I think Brendan Sorsby gets another statement win. He's 7-1 on the year. He's not been sacked a whole lot. He's not been throwing a lot of interceptions. I'm going to take Sorsby to get the win over Kyle Whittingham and the Utah Utes in that one. So I'm rocking with my Bearcats in that one. So that's my pick'ems for the week. Of course, let me know what you think in the comments below. Of course, leave your prediction for Auburn versus Kentucky. Are you siding with me and picking Auburn to beat Kentucky, or are you on the more pessimistic side picking Kentucky to beat Auburn, which, again, would be a sad day on the Plains if Auburn loses to Kentucky. But, of course, don't forget, that's going to do it for the College Loop Podcast. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. And, of course, don't forget to check us out on social medias, every single one of them at the College Loop. You can find me as well on Twitter, at your boy the Tank, at YABOY the Tank. Also have Instagram as well, at Dylan Larck, DYLNLERCK. And, of course, right on the College Loop Podcast, where you, again, like, comment, and subscribe. Of course, going to do it for the College Loop Podcast. Thank you all for tuning in. Of course, we'll be back on Sunday talking. I don't know if we'll be live or not, but definitely we'll be on here on Sunday talking about the game, hopefully talking about an Auburn win in Jordan-Hare. But with that being said, thanks for tuning in to the College Loop Podcast yet again. And as always, War Eagle.